After serving the two guests food and wine, Borges, which over depicts with pleasure in the details, Borges noticed that although she had refilled her guests' beechwood cups many times, the pitcher was still full, from which derives the phrase Mercury's pitcher. Realizing that her guests were gods, she and her husband raised their hands in supplication.
I was thinking about that too. That's the spirit, man.
Supplication and employed indulgence for a simple home and fare.
Job, right? I mean Job, Lot.
Yeah.
King of Lot.
Philemon thought of catching and killing the goose that guarded their house and making it into a meal. But when they went to do so, it ran to safety in Zeus's lap. Okay, I'm gonna jump down a little bit. It says, oh, in fact, yeah. Right, check this out. It says, it ran to safety in Zeus's lap. Zeus said they need not to slay the goose and that they should leave the town. This was because he was going to destroy the town and all those who had turned away and not provided due hospitality. Now, Sodom and Gomorrah wasn't because of no bad hospitality, it was because of faggots and lesbians. Right. That's probably why Esau tried to switch it up and say, oh, bad hospitality. Yeah. Trying to link this Greek myth, the Greek, you know what I'm saying? The Roman myth, you know? He told Baucis and Philemon to climb the mountain with him in Hermes, not to turn back until they reached the top. After climbing to the summit, as far as an arrow could shoot in one pull, Baucis and Philemon looked back on their town and saw that it had been destroyed by a flood. So they looked back and said, oh, destroyed by a flood. You know what I'm saying? By a flood. And that Zeus had turned their cottage into an ornate temple. The couple's wish to be guardians of the temple was granted. He also asked that when time came for one of them to die, that the other would die as well. Upon their death, the couple were changed into an intertwining pair of trees, one oak and one linden, standing in the deserted, boggy terrain. Other versions. The story of Baucis and Philemon does not appear elsewhere in Greek mythology nor in any cult, but the notion of hospitality's sacred nature was widespread in the ancient world. After Lot and his wife had feasted them, two strangers were revealed as two angels. Genesis 19:1. This story is in the previous chapter, like the story of Baucis and Philemon. Lot and his family were told to flee the mountains and not to look back before the Most High destroyed the city that he was living in. In addition, Hebrews 13:2 reads, do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing that some have entertained angels without knowing it. But it says some have entertained angels unaware. That's an example of that in Hebrew. Genesis. Read that first. Read it. Yeah, when it says, no, brother, you don't even got to read it. You don't even got to read it because he basically, brothers know the story. Yeah. Brothers know the story. You know what I'm saying?
Genesis 19.
You know what I'm saying?
Read it.
So yeah, Genesis 19. So what? They get stuff from the Bible, bro. He had to have known about the book of Genesis. You know, getting that, writing that down. Most I got a lawsuit against you devils, man.
That's it. That's what he did. Change up.
You know what I'm saying?
What you call it? Plagiarizing.
Yeah.
Plagiarizing. They basically plagiarize the scriptures, man. The shit. I used to do that shit in fucking school to pass a test. I read a fucking story and I just wrote the shit down and just changed it up a little bit.
But you know what I used to do? I used to take the whole page, right? Copy and paste it, and then I would highlight everything and click to the top of the page, something that's called auto summarize. And automatically summarizes the whole thing for you. And give it in like a 93 or something. They don't know what the hell, you know? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Also one thing, Ovid could have been a Jake. Who knows? He could have been a Jake. You know what I'm saying? They got sculptures of him look like a cracker, but he could have been an Israelite. We don't know. Right. But we know the priest of Jupiter was Israelite for Paul to be teaching to him. Right. Okay? It says the possibility that unidentified strangers in need of hospitality were gods in disguise was ingrained in first century culture. Less than 2 generations after Ovid's publication, Acts 14:11 and 12 relates the ecstatic reception given to Paul of Tarsus and Barnabas as they ministered in the city of Lystra. The crowd shouted, the gods have come down to us in likeness of men. Well, it says human form. And it says Barnabas they call Zeus and Paul they call Hermes, showing you that those are the equivalents. They even know that here. They even know that right here on Wikipedia. You know? So that's basically that on that verse, right?
Yeah. You got people saying like, you know, that's Google ain't no real research and shit. You know, where you got that information from Google?
Well, guess what? Yeah.
That just linked. So
that's all. On top of that, it links perfectly with the script, so we know it got to be accurate.
Exactly.
Listen, like I heard the other thing say years ago, he said if it don't link with the Bible, it's basically bullshit. Yep. It's basically bullshit. Yeah. Like for example, we know the Most High don't condone GMOs. They had GMOs back then. So this is the first chapter tells you food supposed to have seed within itself. Since it don't got seed within itself, the Most High don't condone that.
Right.
Okay, now read down to the 13th verse.
Okay, this is Acts
So
14.
I know I'm reading kind of fast, brothers, but due to the interest of time, we'll be done shortly, Lord will.
Acts 14 and I'm gonna start back at 12.
Go ahead.
And they called Barnabas Jupiter and Paul Mercurius because he was the chief
Read a
speaker.
little bit louder.
Hey,
You don't gotta read real
go
loud, just,
Okay.
with planes and shit, people running past, jogging and all that, little fucking goop kids hugging trees and shit. Go ahead.
he called Barnabas Jupiter and Paul Mercurius because he was chief speaker. Then the priests of Jupiter, which was before their city, brought oxen and garden lands.
Right. It said then the priest of Jupiter. Now we gotta get into that now.
Okay.
The word, you look up priest of Jupiter, right? You type it in like on Google, it'll bring you to a Wikipedia page. And it says Flamen Dialis. In ancient Roman religion, the Flamen Dialis was the high priest of Jupiter. They were flipped, see? So that's what they were called back then. The high priest of Jupiter were called Flamen Dialis. So at that time, they may not have said priest of Jupiter, they may have just said Flamen Dialis. There were 15 Flamines, or Flamen Dialis, however it's pronounced in the ancient Latin, classic Latin, of which 3 were Flamines Majoris. See, it's no J right there. It's an I. Serving the 3 gods of the archaic triad. According to the tradition, the Flamines were forbidden to touch metal, ride a horse, and see a corpse. So one of the restrictions of being just as it being an Israelite, one of the restrictions that you can't eat pork or touch the carcass of of unclean dead animals. One of the traditions of the Flamines was that they couldn't touch a dead corpse, they couldn't ride a horse or touch metal. What the fuck that got to do with anything?
Yeah, right.
Which there's a lot of different. When you go into it, you'll find out that there's different superstitions about it. But I didn't bring that out because that would be a lot of stuff, a lot more stuff to go into. It says, you jump down, it says privileges and honors. The Flamen Dialis enjoyed many peculiar honors. When a vacancy occurred, 3 persons of patrician descent, like at the plebeians and the patrician was more like in the upper class. And I believe when you go on certain records, it tell you Julius Caesar was a Flamen Dialis in his younger years. When you look it up, some say that, some say probably, some say he probably wasn't. Whose parents had been married according to the ceremonies of confariatio, the strictest form of Roman marriage. Okay? There's a little more to that, but I'm going to jump down to the restrictions part. To counterbalance these high honors, in fact, I'll read a little bit, just a little. It says, were nominated by the Comitia, one of whom was selected and consecrated by the Pontifex Maximus. From that time forward, he was emancipated from the control of his father and became sui juris. He alone of all priests wore the apex. Okay? Look, I got the apex right here on Wikipedia. It says apex headdress. The apex was a cap worn by the Flamines, Sally at Rome. That's how it looked. The essential part of the apex to which alone the name probably belonged was a pointed piece of olive wood, the base of which was surrounded with a lock of wood. This was worn on the top of the head and was held there either by fillets only, or was more commonly the case, was also fastened by means of 2 strings or bands. So they had a hat on their head like called the apex. So when Paul was around, they probably had on this damn apex hat, looking like some of them were even shaped like cones. Like so-called party hats.
Party cones and shit.
Yeah. So they had them damn hats on their damn head, man. With stupid ass garments on. There's certain garments they had to wear too. So Paul looking at these guys like, what the hell? So you see, hey, 5% of the way them, they wear them.
Oh, that little shit with the.
Yeah, with a little string coming down and shit, like a kufi.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they got polite with that dumb ass. They got them damn 5% be having them hats and all them damn mystical stuff on it.
The hot dog man hat.
Yeah, the hot dog,
Yeah.
Them damn stupid ass damn hats, man. Look like they work for Rolling Roasters. You know that commercial?
The Abu hats. They be wearing the Abu hats.
Yeah, them Abu hats. What's that called? The Moorish hats. The fez. That's like how they was looking back then.
Stupid.
So the way we see them guys rolling up, like I remember one time, Del Hall was speaking one time, but some damn Moorish guy went by, walked past talking shit. He had a damn fez on his damn head, man. That's like how back then, Menelo was speaking to them guys, you know what I'm saying? Had them stuff on their damn heads and shit, you know? Talking trash. It says, by means of 2 strings of bands, which were called apicula, though the latter word is also interpreted to mean a kind of button by which the strings were fastened under the chin. Okay? And you can't, it says the Flamings were forbidden by law to go into public or even in open air without the apex. They couldn't even go in open air without the hat on, because that would be like, basically disregarding, you know, their god, Jupiter. Because he's the so-called sky god of the skies and all of that. So if you go out in open air under the sky without the hat on, like you're naked before him. Bullshit. Madness. Supplius was deprived. See, Jupiter. You know. Now, you know what I'm saying? Now, with the meat tree, you know, we gotta have our head, part of our heads uncovered. Cause that's not honoring the Most High. That's why when we teach the word, we don't got shit on our heads and shit, you know? But they saying, oh, that's naked before him. You know what I'm saying? That was their eyes. That was off. That's not in the scriptures. It says, and it gives an example of somebody being cast from the priesthood because while they were sacrificing, their hat fell off. And another guy named Dionysius of Halicarnassus describes the cap of being of a conical form. And on ancient monuments, you see it round as a conical, like a cone type shape. Okay, I'm reading a little bit more. Now I'm in the restriction section. It says, I'm just going to jump around a little bit. It says, it was unlawful for him to be out of the city for a single night. A regulation which seems to have been modified by Augustus, and so far that an absence of 2 nights was permitted. He was forbidden to sleep out of his own bed for 3